Oh, I've never had that one. It's not running now, eh?
It will be known for a while.
No. Yeah, so like what I said, the people apply for the program, so the whole recruitment process, and then the part where we support the participants. I also teach some workshops, and I'm also in touch with participants, but mostly I try to talk to companies, find companies to advocate for diversity, basically. So we have this talent pool of people with a migrant background or refugee background, and I try to not really convince, but to ask the companies, hey, how is it going in terms of diversity, and are there things that are not going smooth or difficult, and in terms of the hiring process, do you have difficulties finding the good people? And then I try to make them work with us. Yeah.
What are companies in Austria looking for in terms of talent?
It really depends on the company. Like, I have to say, most companies I talk, because I ask the same question, like what kind of people you're looking for, what is it? It's mostly flexible, no 9-to-5 mentality. It depends, but I would say that's generally open, flexible, and able to learn fast, things like that. I usually speak to the somewhat bigger companies, so then that's important, and learn fast. And then there's, of course, some cultural things I always ask, like what is the working culture a little bit? And then sometimes they're like, yeah, we're a bit more traditional, so for us it's important that you're in the office a lot and that you speak German at a certain level, and with others it's like, yeah, remote is okay in English. So actually there's not really a standard answer to that. But unfortunately, a lot of companies still think German is very important.
How does it work technically? So you have this portfolio of people who sign up at your program, and then you show the catalog to the company so they can pick people they need? Or can you explain me how it works? And maybe you go from the very first step of I need a job. Let's say I'm a third citizen from third country and I live in Austria. How can I work with more than one perspective to get a job here?
Yeah. So there are some things you have to have. So you have to be able to work in terms of documentation. So your papers, your visa, everything. Okay, Aufenthaltstitel. You have to be.
You exclude international students with a visa student, right? Okay.
Yeah, because we cannot. Like, our promise is that we look for suitable jobs, or that we try to find a suitable job, and we know from the company side that they won't work with student visa. Like, they can't. They're only allowed to work a certain amount of hours, I think, per week. So that's not what we do. However, of course, sometimes people come here on a student visa and then life happens and they stay and they have another... I only know the German word now, Aufenthaltstitel. So
the residence permit.
Yeah, permit, exactly, residence permit. So they might, in a later stadium, come back to us. But in general, the program is more for highly skilled or higher skilled third country nationals, often already with working experience in their home country or somewhere else. And then, so third country national, and the permit's okay, and B1 German or a really good level of English, if not, ideally both, but and then motivation. So it's important that they're at a point where they can really fully follow the program. They can be there with every workshop or most of the workshops, and they can really commit. So if you're a person like that, okay, but there's just somehow, maybe because I'm lacking the network in Vienna, or culturally I don't really understand how this works, or I keep getting rejections and I don't know why. I feel like I have the right background. What is it? Those people come to us, and then we start our 6-month program, where in the beginning it's really intensive with workshops. So we're going to look very individually. What are your soft skills, your hard skills? What have you done in your home country? What does your CV look like? We make the CV in a format that we know from HR professionals from the companies we work with is a good CV. But still, you have to edit your CV depending on which job you apply for. But you have a basic good CV. Motivation letter, how to write a motivation letter, Austrian labor law. And then we have some extra German classes as well, business English, also empowerment, mental health activities. So this is the intensive part of the program. You do this in the same group. It's a group of 25 people usually. And then after this 6 months, your CV is ready. You know a bit what you want. You really thought about what are my skills? What do I want in the long run? What would be a suitable job for me? And then we really know this person very, very well because we've been working with them for 6 months. We've done one-on-one coaching. Then their CV is ready. And then I have my list of companies that we work with. And I can see, and they can look themselves as well in the list that we have, what would be an interesting company for you. And then if there's a vacancy at this company, I can contact the company. So that's usually how it works. And be like, I have a very motivated person that I think would be a good fit because by then I also know the culture of the company, what they're looking for. And then they're like, okay, send the CV and we can have a look. So they don't have to go through this whole portal where a lot of people send their CV and be one of many. With us, they get, with an extra recommendation, we show them to the company. And then it's out of our hands, of course, because then... So I make sure that I only send people that I really believe would be a good fit, because otherwise it's a bit of a lost on both sides.
How many people do you work with at the same time? Like, what is a regular year for you? How many people do you train and prepare for the job market?
In total, around 80, 90.
80, 90.
So we have 3 cohorts per year with 25 people each group. And like 75% find a job within a year. But some need a bit longer, or some lose their job, and they come back to us. So we're not very strict, like, oh, it's only half a year and that's it. They can be part of our community as long as they want. But usually, because we really only look for suitable jobs, like sustainable jobs, usually once they find a job,
they stay.
Yeah.
And how does it...
This is water, yeah.
Yes. How does it... do you want beer?
Would be nice. I'm a bit disappointed, but yeah.
And, how much does it cost for people to join your program?
100 euros.
In total?
Yeah.
That's cheap. That's very affordable.
Yeah. It's I would say more of a symbolic.
Yeah.
So that we're sure they're really committed. And if someone receives money from MA40, like social money, or cannot afford it, then maybe I shouldn't say this too loud, but then we're not saying, you can't participate.
So you basically look at each case particularly.
Yeah,
so,
if they really are motivated to join, we're not going to exclude someone if they can't pay the 100 euros.
Yes.
So
money is not the...
No.
You really want people to find a job. That's
it's a social business, so it's I would say it leans more towards an NGO almost, because it's for us the goal, because we really believe that it's just such a shame to let this talent go to waste, first of all. And you can really see, you really change lives if you do this. This is really, if people find a job and they find meaning and it's a sustainable job and they're being valued and being seen, you can really make someone's life so much better. And it works both ways, because they are really talented people, the people that are in program. They just have to be somehow seen or directed a bit. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, they just have to be at the right place at the right time.
And the network is really important, So the fact that we have this network and that someone can tell you, hey, look, this person has the right background, that helps.
There's something going on more and more. I don't know if it's happening all over the world, but for sure in Austria, I hear it from many people, and I had that experience myself some time ago. You apply for a job, someone applies for a job that you think it's the perfect job. Like you tick every box that is, and the years of experience, the skills required, what the job description, it's exactly for you. And then you apply, and they say that there's going to be 2 rounds of interviews. The short one, 10, 15 minutes, and then a longer one. And then you're not even called for the first one, 15 minutes. And it's so surprising because you think, how can this be possible that they didn't even call me to hear my voice and look at me in the face for a little more information. Yeah. And you wrote a personalized letter of intent, not with AI.
Exactly.
What they keep saying on LinkedIn that you should do, but then you just received an automated rejection email. Mm-hmm. How is this possible? Yeah. And then on the other hand, everyone is complaining, the companies, that they don't find the right employees. Yeah. Can you explain this?
Yeah, we're trying to research this all the time, and I'm also often surprised. How can this be? I think in the beginning, because I work for More Than One Perspective for half a year now, so not that long. And for me also the Austrian situation was new in that sense because I'm from the Netherlands. But I've learned, I was also a bit naive in the beginning, thinking if you write a nice personal letter, if you tick all the boxes, if you have an enthusiastic, the way you apply is enthusiastic, and indeed you tick all the boxes, that's enough. But unfortunately, especially for the bigger companies, indeed AI plays a big role. So they don't want people to apply to use AI too much, but a lot of big companies, the first screening is done by AI, which is basically, I think it's literally counting the amount of times you say a certain word that is also in the vacancy so that it overlaps. So they can see a certain percentage, this profile overlaps a lot with the vacancy. So then at least you're being selected that a real human goes through it, like that. So this was also not, I also didn't really knew this from the beginning. And there are still companies that don't do it. But I think a lot of them, because that's the second thing at the moment in Austria, and I think, like you said, Europe-wise, at the moment, companies are getting a lot of applicants and a lot of good ones as well, because there's a lot of big companies that have to shrink. So good experienced people are looking for a job. So at the moment, there's a lot of people applying. And also that's at least what the companies tell me. And a lot of good people that speak perfectly German, of course. This also plays a role. Still, I also know that it's still the case. Yes, a lot of people apply, but there's also a lot of them that don't really fit the requirements. So recruiters still waste a lot of time going through all of this. Yeah.
So it's technically AI is causing people to lose jobs, but in a different way that we thought. It's because it's filtering them out the wrong way.
The wrong way. Yeah. So that's all. But this is, of course, the knowledge is out there. So you can, and this is, or at least this is what we share as well. Like you have to. Like you can just write a CV with your honest experience and everything that you've done, and that's your CV, and that you keep sending the same CV out. But that's not. You have to look at the vacancy, look at your CV again, and then write it a bit towards, okay, what do they want this? Now, okay, I didn't write it, but actually I've done this as well. And then you make sure it overlaps, or you paraphrase. You also cannot copy paste too much. So then you just have to mean the same thing, but with different words, things like that.
So that's the CV or the motivation letter?
Both. The motivation letter, they will only read your motivation letter when you've passed the CV test. I'm talking about the bigger companies now that automate it. So, and this also depends from recruiter to recruiter, but a lot of them told me, don't spend too much time on a motivation letter, because for us, it's the CV has to fit, and then they're onto the and we only look at the motivation letter if the CV is not perfect. But then we want to see, okay, maybe there's a strong motivation letter as to why it fits. And if that's the case, if it's complementary, then it might help. So it depends a bit on your situation.
So basically the job hunt becomes way more technical than, I don't want to say it than it's supposed to be, but at least than expected. It's more technical than expected. And while everyone should add on their CVs that one of the skills is to edit CVs good for job applications.
Yeah.
Because if you edit your CV for every job, it's also realistic that people, when they're looking for a job, they apply to more than 100 job openings.
So it takes a lot of time. Yeah.
And how can you do your CV 100 times? Because you apply and you need your job fast because you don't have the time.
Yeah.
So in a month, you might apply for 100 companies and you need to see them. Yeah. But that's exhausting for something you really fit, because you're basically exhausting yourself to match the algorithms, not to match the job. You already matched the job.
Mm-hmm. But many others as well, probably. That's the thing. There's, of course, other people that also fit the job. And then there's has to be something that makes you stand out. And in terms of the applying a lot, and then because that's also what we hear back a lot from our associates, the people that participate in our program, we call them associates. Edit my CV I can't. I'm like standing out of 50 applications. I can't. And they were like, but if you keep doing what you're doing, it's a wasted time anyways, because then you won't get invited. So take this you have a basic CV. It's not like you have to rewrite you have a basic CV. Then just look at the vacancy and then tweak it. Make sure this specifics, and this is also what we support. So this is something we have this Slack channel with all our associates, and whenever they have a CV ready or they want to apply, and they want us to look at it, you don't have to, but if they want us to look at it, then we check the CV and we check the vacancy, and then we help. This is also something that our knowledge also keeps evolving, because we also didn't know this a couple of months ago that this worked like that, and they were like, then we had to get into this AI stuff as well, like how do they do this? And then we talked to the HR people from the companies. How do you even select to get the knowledge? So it's indeed, the more I talk about it, it's more like to understanding the game, to at least get an interview, and then you can be your authentic self.
Yeah.
But you have to crack the game a bit, and we know, maybe because of experience, a bit how that works, to at least get you, and then you can be and then they hire really you for who you are. But to get through this especially the first interview, is the hardest to get. Once you're there, then it's a matter of both ways. Do you fit the company? Is it indeed the place for you?
So this is a problem or a situation with big companies, because when we do also get every week job application, unsolicited job application. Mm-hmm. We don't have any open position for now, but we still get. And I can immediately tell when someone has written a motivation letter with AI, and I immediately stop reading it, and it doesn't make sense at all.
No.
I just say that we don't have any openings at the moment.
Yeah.
But then apparently this one works only with big companies because it's filtered. What happens if the AI matches my CV and then motivation letter, and then they call me in the first interview and they read my letter that it's completely written by AI?
Yeah. But you should not write your letter like it's never good, or I don't know how much is my own opinion, but you shouldn't write your whole letter in AI. You should write your letter with your honest motivation, and then ask AI to look at the vacancy in your letter and to say, hey, where can I maybe improve? What should I emphasize more, or what should I, like that. I think you make your own, so that it stays authentic. So you have your motivation because you're applying, otherwise you won't. So write that down first, and then ask AI to support, like, what would you maybe highlight in this letter or not? Things like that.
What was your journey when you moved here from the Netherlands? You're Dutch. You did speak some German when you first moved here, also because there are similarities between the two languages. However, that's one thing. You're still a new person in a new country.
Yeah.
When did you first move here?
4 years ago.
And Austria was still in lockdown, and like the end of 2021.
Yeah, the end of the lockdown. Yeah, but I didn't arrive in a or did I? It was like the aftermath a bit. Yeah.
I think it officially completely reopened March 2022, if I'm not wrong, but when they removed the mask and all.
Yeah.
But November 2021 was for sure lockdown. I remember that very well. That's when we started the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
How was it for you?
Yeah, I really liked it because I moved from Rotterdam. Like I lived in Rotterdam before with my boyfriend, my partner, and for me it was a new adventure. So I was excited. I lived in Rotterdam for a while, and for me it was like, oh, exciting, a new step. So I wasn't, and I lived abroad before, so for me it was not extremely scary. And of course I went with my boyfriend, so it wasn't completely new. I visited Vienna before, we visited his family, so I knew a bit what I was getting into. And I just remember having a lot of energy, and I really decided I want to integrate as soon as possible. I want to find my life here as soon as possible. And like, yeah, so I overdid it a lot. I think I went to, and I thought, okay, how do I make new friends? I was like, okay, I'm just going to yoga often. And then I stay after the lesson, and then I just talk to people a bit. That was my first try. Because I worked, my previous job in the Netherlands, I worked with also people with a refugee background on various life domains, but also for the ones that came. And I always advised them, like, create your social network as soon as possible. Go to do sports, or, I gave them this advice. So now I did it myself. Like, okay, I have to. But then I noticed, so I went to the yoga. And then I noticed afterwards, people are not waiting for me to talk to them. Often they're with friends, or this is the only time in the week that they're really alone. They don't really want to interact. I could really feel like, okay, this is not the time. It was a bit forced, me after the yoga class, like sitting there waiting. And also I was like, oh my God. Because I have a lot of friends. But in the Netherlands, of course, it felt a bit like I don't need other friends. I have my friends. And so then I was like, okay, no, I just go for the yoga for me. And then I made the decision to go to the Impact Hub relatively soon in the process, because I still worked for a Dutch NGO at the moment, at that time. So that also didn't help. I didn't want to sit alone at home working from there. So then I went to the Impact Hub, and then I mean, you know how it goes. Then I relatively fast found people to hang out with. So that helped a lot, but I think. And then I had the friends of my partner, of course, which helped. But then it was also a struggle because they all spoke German and I was just learning the language. And although, of course, it's close to that, but it's still another language.
Still in your language.
Yeah. So usually I wouldn't describe myself as a shy person, but I just didn't have the words.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, this is the thing I think that a lot of newcomers recognize. Your identity is a bit different all of a sudden, because usually I'm the person that talks the most, and now I was constantly trying to engage in a conversation, and then the moment was past. I had a nice joke, but then I couldn't, so that makes you feel that's the difficult part. I think you're not really part of them, and that was a struggle. I remember calling with a friend, saying like everything feels like, how do you say it in English? Like honey, maybe, that it sticks, and like as if you're walking through the. Everything's such a hassle and difficult and slow. I have to work so hard, and that just takes a while, because also with new friendships, it just takes a while before you really know someone.
But also when you start new friendships and you're not 15 anymore, it's way different.
Yeah.
Because people have already settled on their daily routine, and if you move to a new country, people here already have their friends, just like you already have in the Netherlands as well. And it's hard to make friends that you're gonna hang out with for a lot of time, and it's hard to go very deep in friendship. Like I'm pretty sure that there might not be many of those new friends that you made with whom you go into really deep conversation and you share most. Maybe there's just a handful of them, but it's not high school anymore.
No.
You don't go to do sleepovers.
Yeah.
Especially if you move here already you already had your partner and you start, it's mostly double dating.
Yeah.
It's not just a group of young people that can stay out all the time and they can wake up anytime the next day and not work or something.
It's a different. Yeah, true. Yeah, but then the Impact Hub helped because it's all or mostly internationals that are also here for not too long. Like they're also relatively new. So this, in the sense of hanging out and not already having your friend group, that helped a lot. But then, the thing that was the thing that what didn't work with yoga. You just notice people go with their friends or whatever, and they're not looking for new friends. I was the same in the Netherlands. I would not really hang out with someone that I didn't know after yoga. No, I mean, I had my friends. Now I would do it differently, I think, because now I'm aware if I would see someone sitting like me, I would at least tell them.
It's still a new thing to discuss, and because you do it now after experiencing it yourself, you do it if you see someone who's looking for friends. But then, are you doing it because you want new friends or because you feel sorry for the other person?
Yeah,
and
depends a bit.
Then if you go deeper into that, maybe we shouldn't do it simply out of feeling sorry out of pity, because maybe we're making them become friends with the wrong person after all, that maybe they shouldn't be our friends if we are not open to become friends like that. And maybe we end up destroying someone's life.
No, you're right. That's also what I, at some point, like I went on so many coffee dates, basically dating, but then for friendships, like not with this like idea, like, oh, we're dating for a friendship, but just you meet someone and hey, let's have a coffee. And in the beginning, I was friends with everyone, so to say. I was like, at least I created friends. But at some point, I got more picky because I was like, if I would be in the Netherlands, I also wouldn't hang out with this person. Nothing against this person, but just we don't really have the same interests or hobby or whatever, or things to talk about. So why would I do that here? Why would I hang out with people that I also wouldn't hang out? So then I got a bit more picky. Also because of time, I cannot like drink coffees all the time with so many people. Yes. So then I just got a bit more selective, and I think I'm at the point now for sure where I have just a couple of really good friends.
So you basically you grew up.
Yeah.
You don't have time for those things.
Yeah. It's really a choice. Like how do you? And especially now I have a daughter who's 2. You just have to. Because I'm someone that says yes to everything almost, in terms of if someone says, let's do this, yes. And then you become more picky, like what to spend your time on and with whom. Yeah.
But that's how it gets, and that's what is expected. And especially, as you said, you're a social person. Mm-hmm. I would say I come from the same background. So when you've done a lot of socializing before or up to a certain moment in life or age, and you don't really miss it a lot afterwards. You start enjoying just staying at home. The other day, a friend called me, he's the oldest friend I have in life. I've known him since I have memory. So basically 5 years old. We used to live in the same building. We still stay in touch. He lives in Albania, doesn't live here, but and then he called me the other day, last week. It was weekday, and he calls me around 7:30 p.m. And he says he just landed in Vienna, and he's going to be there until early next morning.
Before?
No, I didn't know.
Oh God.
And he called me. He says he's going to be here until early next morning because he had to leave for another country.
Oh yeah.
And so he sent me the address, and I checked it, and it's 35 minutes with the U-Bahn.
Oh, and you didn't prepare for this.
I mean, I haven't seen the guy. No, I haven't seen the guy in a long time.
Yeah.
I would like to meet him. I would love to meet him because every time he's one of those friends that I don't talk to him every day. But every time we meet, we have a lot to talk about, and we share everything, and we don't keep anything from each other because we really know it. Our families are friends and all, you know.
No.
But then I was already on my home clothes, you know.
It's the mental part, especially.
Yes, and we were about to have dinner.
Sure.
And I sent him a screenshot of the distance. Like, I kind of tell him that, is this the location you're at? But so he could see how far I was.
It's too far, leave it.
And then he said, no, it's too far. Don't worry, because we're not going to stay out that long. I'm going home in a while. And
Really? I think he understood the message. He got the message.
But if I had received that call 10 years ago, when I was living in Tirana, for example, or when I was living in Chicago, I wouldn't care at all. I would just
go. Yeah.
Even if I was sleeping.
Yeah. But what changed?
I don't know. It's probably what I was saying, that I don't miss that impulsiveness anymore because I consumed it. I did that life already. So now I enjoy life in a different way, with a dog at home, with my partner at home, and I have a lot more work that also changed. Now I have a company that I have to deal with, and when you have a company, as we were saying, it's not a regular job. You have to work at any hour of the day.
Yeah.
So that changed, and it's constantly on my mind that I might have to do things for the morning after that people I work with or partners, they need to find in their email inboxes the next day. So I want to make sure that I send it the day before.
And you lived in Chicago, or you studied there, or what did you?
I tried to study there. I lived there for 2 years.
Yes.
Then I got back here, and that's the reason why I don't think Vienna and Austria is cold.
Oh yeah.
Because over there it's crazy cold. It's like Russia level cold. Yeah, it's next level thing.
Why did you choose it then?
It was the first time that I was going to leave my home country. I was 22.
Oh yeah.
I had a few cousins there, and I just wanted to go and study somewhere abroad. I had already dropped off the first university I tried in Albania, and they said, then you can come and try over here if you want. So I did. I went there, but then I had to go back because I couldn't afford to pay my studies in the US.
Expensive, yeah.
Crazy expensive. Yes. So
I mean, if Vienna is free.
Vienna, it's I mean, if you're an international student from a third country, it's 1,500 per year.
Okay, so
it's 750 per semester.
Yeah, and if you're from EU, you pay, I think, 20 euros.
20 euro per semester, 25 euro per semester, 50 euro per year. Even if you're not EU, but you have a different kind of residence permit, like a road card, you still don't pay the amount. So I'd say it's a different topic, but I would say it's also a different vibe. Having tried both, it's a different kind of higher education, and
it's more prestigious maybe in America, or
I didn't get the chance to or the privilege to see what chances did I get by graduating there, because I didn't graduate, so I don't know what it would bring.
No.
But it's certainly the mentality, the tradition, the way things are done are way different, and you connect more to your surroundings than you do here, especially as an international student.
Because you also live there, no? You have
you can live in the campus, and going back to what we're saying, maybe connected, could be that when I studied in the US, I was 22, and when I started to study here, I was 29. So it's maybe also this has something to do with it. That I was the one leaving right after class when I started here in Vienna because I had to go to work or do something else.
Go out with your
No, also because of the language thing. They really, it's tough to make friends at the university.
You did it in German.
I did in German, but as you were saying, it was still my earliest I could understand and explain my paper in German. But to make friends, like you're not gonna make the whole crowd switch to English.
No, you don't want.
And you also feel bad doing it because why?
Yeah.
Now that I think about it a little bit, maybe it could help if some of them did it, because the opportunities that the future brings are not only in German. And some of my classmates that used to be my classmates, I received job applications from them at the company now.
Wow.
And I worked with them because I don't care. I don't even remember what language we spoke back then, but I'm just saying that you should always be open, of course, to switching or to go out of your
this is like how aware are you of this? And I think
when you're 18, you're not aware of it.
No, and so either you have to, in a way, but you don't want to be the one making them aware if they have to switch to English for you. You know, ideally, it's someone else makes them aware. Because I think once you've been in a situation like that, you would always in a group switch to the language so that everyone understands. It's the part of being inclusive. And I don't know, maybe you can also make them aware yourself, like, hey, I'm fine. Like for now, it's okay that you all speak German, but if you want to go deeper into the conversation. Yeah.
But there's also a strange thing about when I was a student here in Austria. I was obviously 10 years older than most students and my classmates. What we did is there was this group works that we do together, and we would spend a lot of time in
make
group.
assignments.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. We were doing this assignment. We'd spend a month meeting almost every day and working on those and discussing and chatting on WhatsApp. And then we would do the assignment, and the next day, those people wouldn't even say like good morning or say something to give me a hint that they remember me. Or for one thing, the rest of the group, not just me. And they would just disappear, not even say anything to any of us the next day. And that was shocking coming from a Mediterranean country and Balkan country. We just spend a month together, all of us.
Purely practical, probably.
Very robotic, and I don't get that.
Now we are nice to each other because we have to have this end result, you know?
Yeah.
Like a meaning to an end, but then if the result is there, okay.
And I get the part that they already have friends. I wasn't, as I said, I was also not very much looking for friends at the university because I knew that you have to stay after class to make friends, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
But you can greet people the next day, the people you work with, and that part is very...
Is that cultural, you think, or age?
I wouldn't know. I think it's generational. What I witness, and
there was a 10 years gap.
There was a 10 years gap, but not generational in the sense that because I'm older, because we did have a few more students that were even older than myself. I had a classmate, she was 75. But I think it's generational in the sense of the people who were 18 when I was studying, like just a couple of years ago. I graduated these years. I didn't graduate a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I notice things, especially not coming from Western country, we would take for granted a lot of type of social syndromes that are taken seriously a lot in the Western world, or are financed a lot in the Western world.
Right.
For example, self-diagnosing. That's something that I wasn't used to witness in mass. I will give you an example. I don't care talking about it. You don't have to agree if you're worried to agree.
Let me know. I'm curious. Yeah.
So I was once in this class, and then suddenly there was a student, and she was talking, and then while she was talking, she interrupts herself and said, "Sorry for being so confusing, but I'm neurodivergent."
Oh yeah.
And then suddenly about 15 other people in the class said, "Oh yeah, I'm also neurodivergent." And that was the first time that I heard the word. So I Googled it
you had to Google it.
But it was, I think, 1.5 years or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe it was me, but maybe also the word was not that popular yet, but probably it was me. So I Googled the words, and then I read the description, and I almost said it out loud, but I didn't. And I was going to say, but this is what we used to call stupid just a while back. Like, this is not, why are you self-diagnosing yourself?
Yeah.
And I don't get it. Like, no, you're not. And then I talked to a psychotherapist afterwards. And
You asked her about it?
Yes, I asked her about it. What's this thing? Like, do you have patients coming to you and saying they're neurodivergent? I say, oh, please leave me alone with that, because every person that comes, they say they are neurodivergent. If I had money, she said, for every person who says that, I would be very, very rich. But it's that's why I was saying that it's a generational thing. It's Gen Z's.
Yeah, it's probably social media. I mean,
social media.
But the self-diagnosing, like to see, actually, I have this or I am like this. You identify with someone that has it.
Request for attention.
Yeah, it could also be, and it could also be like, it's also nice that it's something people can discuss, and also that you then go to therapy and ask about it. So it's not, that's the nice thing about it, I guess, that it's more in the open. So it's not a taboo anymore. You can just say it. But
well, I mean, I don't really believe it, that all of them were like that. I get it.
But it's a wide spectrum. So and in that sense, a lot of people...
I get it that the attention span has shrank a lot.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons maybe they end up calling this a neurodivergent. They have, I believe that they are not able to focus as they used to.
Yeah.
But I think there's many factors impacting that. I don't think it's something that there's wrong in their brains that they can almost brag about in class.
Yeah.
It's I don't think it's that. It's many factors. Social media, is TikTok, and it's many other factors that are faster than they used to be.
Yeah.
And I think they're okay, and they're mentally healthy in that aspect. If that's what they say they have, I don't think that's one mental problem they have. I don't know if they go to the doctor and they have other things like those.
Did you talk about it with them? Or
That's the second thing that I want. I wasn't able to even try to open it up for questioning it. That's the thing with some participants of some members of the generation, that it's very hard to start discussing it, because they suddenly jump all over you with counter arguments, and you feel like you cannot find the right words anymore to you either have to support it or you're against them. That's what's happening on the internet a lot. That's what happened in my class as well.
Okay, so also against you?
I didn't speak.
Oh, you didn't dare?
Because I did speak before in closer groups, and I did get that reaction.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought if I speak here, they will certainly kick me out of the class.
Yeah. So you paid attention to your words. I think if you come from a place of genuine curiosity and not judging, I think you can always talk about it, no?
So that's the thing. By promoting yourself as open-minded and liberal, you end up being more closed-minded sometimes, because you do not accept other opinions sometimes anymore. But you only accept you automatically accept what people decide for themselves. So someone says, I'm neurodivergent, and you accept it and support it. But if someone questions it, then you don't accept it anymore. And that's makes you even more.
You've seen a lot, or
that's what I've seen a lot.
Okay.
That's my experience, and that's the experience of some people I know as well. That it's becoming harder and harder to express your opinion publicly. You always have to keep in mind who is going to be offended if you say something. And especially people in some people from my community or profession in Austria, we're part of the media, and we're people in communication. We like to talk. And it's becoming hard to talk.
It's becoming, because you might offend someone. I think but I might be naive, and I don't have social media, so I only have LinkedIn, which is also, I guess, at the moment turning out like okay, it's also getting it indeed social media. So I don't really encounter this a lot, but if like this part where you cannot disagree or ask, naively I would say if it comes from a, like, again, respect, genuinely interest, I think you can discuss everything if you're open to also change your mind and to really listen.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we also have our ideas of, maybe you also think, neurodivergent, they probably haven't even really checked if this is the case, and self-diagnosed. If you try to not have all these assumptions and to go really open into the conversation, it might work out. But I agree, as you explain the situation, some things might be heated already a bit, you don't really dare to start a conversation.
Yeah, it's...
But you made some friends.
Actually, I did make only one friend. He's older than myself, that's why.
25 one?
No, that one.
Every Friday. Going for a treat. Yeah, I think we have more in common.
We're both not on social media.
We're not on social media.
We read the papers. Yes. Yeah. But we go hiking together and stuff.
We enjoy the nature, walk with our dog.
Yes. Yeah. But it was almost like a thing that was not going to happen, making friends at the university.
So it's a combination, you say, of culture and generational.
I think so. It's so the thing that why they wouldn't even greet the next day after the assignment, that I wouldn't know who to blame it to, if it's generational or cultural thing. Mm-hmm. I might say it's slightly more cultural background, in the sense that maybe they're not used, or maybe they're like, this was a job, we finished the job, so we don't owe him even a good morning. I don't know.
No, but it's probably, were they all Austrian?
I would say native German speakers, but
because I think if you're new somewhere in a country, it can also be from Germany or from wherever, then you're more inclined to make friends. But if you grow up in Vienna and then go to university, you already have your friends, so then it's just more separated.
Yeah.
If you did an international study, it would have been different, probably.
Yes, exactly. And also, if the studies were, I hear different things from people who study in English in Vienna, because there are so many more international students studying there, and I know that they're hanging out with people from their classes and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's what you initially described by coming at the Impact Hub. There were many people like yourself here.
Yeah. So they're more inclined.
Yeah, and there weren't many in my class.
And actually, what you describe as happening in your study, I think that is what a lot of our associates, to get back to where I work, experience in working in Austria. It's basically the same, but at a school or work, it's the same, that you have this group of people that share a certain culture, certain languages, a certain language, certain habits, and then you join, and then of course there's a certain politeness, and of course they value you as a team member, but still you feel like you cannot really be part of the team, because in the end they will switch to German when they speak amongst each other, or when they make a joke, you don't understand what they're talking about. So there's always a form of exclusion. And this is because what we do at More Than One Perspective is not just this matching to companies, like the one-on-one. We also offer workshops where we work with companies to at least be aware of this, that you exclude people if you speak in a certain way. If you have, for instance, a lot of dialects also in Austria, and if you choose to speak this dialect when someone is still in the process of learning the language, you exclude someone. But also culturally, like diversity doesn't mean like, we have 2 people with a migrant background in our team, done. No, but do you really include their vision, their perspective? Do you make sure that they're heard as well, that they can also share their perspective on things? And I think we have a lot of work to do there, I think. Same as at the universities.
Yeah. What is I was reading today, there was a report by the European Investment Bank, and they ranked Austria among the worst countries in the European Union for having women in top
Really, I didn't know.
roles. It was the fourth from the end.
Right.
The first one was Latvia.
Okay. Number one is Latvia.
Number one was Latvia. Yeah.
Okay.
What is it for you at more than one perspective? Do you have a gender share equal, close to equal?
I'm just looking at our cohort at the moment. And yeah, I think close to 50-50. We don't make sure it's 50-50 or something. It's just whoever applies. But I think overall, maybe slightly more men. But overall, yeah.
It's a good share of.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, if I just think about the people, like sometimes their husband, if they are with their husband, already found a job and then they're trying to find a job as well. For instance, could also be what we see a lot. The husband went to Austria for work and then they're also trying to find a job. The other way around happens as well, of course, but less. Yeah, but I think it's...
What's the impression of the companies? And this is also part of this question is part of the top that you are, and also part that you're also a mother. What is the impression of the companies when they see the at least 1 year gap?
Yeah, I think
for maternity leave?
I have to say Austria is, or maybe Vienna is like quite social. This gap usually, at least if I talk to recruiters and HR people, like I recently spoke to head of recruiting of a bigger bank in Austria. And he was like, of course, everyone understands, it's fine. Just don't make things up that you did in that year. Just say parental leave or family, like that you were with your family or, just. So he says, for me, that doesn't mean anything. But just make it clear, a gap doesn't mind, but don't fill it with, oh yeah, I did a course, this, and... No, I just said
if it's not true.
Yeah, if it's not true, but also it's okay to, if you have 3 children close after each other, it's absolutely fine that you were with them this period of time. Just one sentence like parental leave or took care of the family, something like that.
If I was in a jar, for me that would even look better that the person had their parental leave, because it means that chances are smaller that they will leave when they're working at my company again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you could also be like, they had it already.
Yeah, so they will work.
Yeah.
They will stay longer with us.
Yeah, I think this is all like HR people or recruiters will never tell you whatever they're thinking, really, of course, or companies, because they're not allowed to discriminate in terms of towards mothers, or so they will never say, oh yeah, then we didn't hire them. So maybe unconsciously, or they're not telling us that it does matter if they look at the CV. But I think the common way to see it and to think about it is that it's fine to have a gap, and that obviously you can never hire a man because you're afraid that maybe the woman might get pregnant at some point or whatever. That's not something you can do. And I think even now I hear a lot, especially in IT, that they prefer a woman because they try to have more women in tech as well. That's also a thing. There's also a lot of programs now.
Do you think that's because of the incentives? Because I know that a lot of Austrian public grants, they offer you more money if you have
probably, yeah,
women in project that are in a bit higher.
Probably. I don't know exactly, because I know there's also some funding from the government where if you're a company where a woman leads, like is the CEO or something, you have a higher chance. Yeah.
Yes. You don't have technically a higher chance because they cannot say that, but you have a higher funding rate. So if you're approved more money just because of that.
Yeah.
So
you should hire a female CEO.
That's here's the thing. I was talking to also during the event. I don't have any men in the team at all, and it's been a while that I don't have a man in the team.
But you're the boss.
Because I wish I wasn't, honestly. But that's a technical solution to an existing problem, incentivizing hiring more women.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think the companies are more conscious by doing that, or because if they do it only for the money, then what's going to happen after the money is over with this public grant?
You never know in terms of you never know what is real and what is diversity washing or gender washing. I don't know how you want to call it, like you have greenwashing. Of course, I've been to this, of course, because we're advocating diversity and diverse teams, etc. I'm also going to a lot of these diversity conferences, and a lot of it is also for the stage, I call it. I don't know if that's the right way to say it in English, but it's to show that you're really diverse. But what of it is real? Sometimes you have to enforce it a little bit, and then hopefully through positive experience it will go on. Like for instance, with hiring more women, maybe that you. Yeah, it's always a question. But I do feel, or at least if I speak to the companies, that no question it's important. Like women in higher positions, but also people from various backgrounds. They're all like, yeah, of course that's important. But what do they really feel? I think it is by now important as a company to show that you care about these topics.
Yeah. Staying in the topic of what we're talking about, there is in Australia, if you know, there was another report a few days ago that by 2040, the number of people over 65 will be 26% of the population. Even this year, the death rate was higher again than the birth rate.
Yeah.
Now, this means that probably people are not making enough kids, but also because we have a lot of way more older people after an age that they can work and make kids.
That's what you mean. Yeah.
So, what it's like to have kids and be a parent and mother in Vienna. In let's think of some everyday things, even since the moment, like the paperwork or registering them to kindergarten or school, even walking them around with a stroller. Is it easy or? Let's find some good stuff about it. So we have.
You mean like if Vienna is family friendly or
mother friendly? Family friendly and mother friendly in a sense.
Yeah.
What do you remember as a challenge when you became a mother in Vienna, and what did you love the most? I love this thing about Vienna that they made for mothers.
I think that a lot of families and young parents agree that Vienna is amazing in terms of your parental leave, so your carents. I think for me, at least in the Netherlands, usually as a mother, I mean, it changes a bit that the father is also on leave a longer time, but as a mother, I think it's 4 months, usually. Of course, you have exceptions, but around 4 months, and then you go back to work.
In the Netherlands?
Yeah. And so a lot of my friends, I know that around this age they started working again, and then I became a mom myself, and I was like around that 3-4 months. I was like, no way I could. It's also maybe a matter of if you have to go back to work, you just arrange things in a way that would be possible. But I was like, how can I? Even if I could do it, then in that case, my baby wouldn't. I didn't even. I couldn't imagine how to bring her to kindergarten at that young age.
4 months, eh?
Yeah. So I was really very happy that I could stay at home, or at home sounds like I could stay with her for a year. And I think that's really nice on the one hand, and on the other hand, I think it's a bit stigmatized. This is also more of a feeling and things that I heard, and of course that you read it in a report, but it's a bit stigmatized if you start working before that as a mom. For the dads, usually it's fine, or people don't say a lot about it, but for the mom, that's also why a lot of, at least public kindergartens, you cannot bring your child before one. So you have to have money if you. So in that sense, I think it's nice from personal perspective, being a mom, that I could be with my baby for so long. But career-wise, of course, there's a huge gap, which is, like we discussed before, maybe not that. I mean, I'm not. For me, I didn't think my career would end after a year, and I'm also I don't work at a consultancy or whatever where a year is a huge problem. I just have different things that are important to me, but so in that case they're really good. On the other hand, it is expected that mostly mothers stay at home for quite a long time. Yeah. But then it's just the way you see it, because it's also really, and I know from a lot of people, moms that are not from here, it's sometimes even an active choice to do this in Vienna. I don't know how it was for you, but it's a good place to start a family because of all this free kindergarten and this carence that you have for such a long time.
Was it hard for you to find a kindergarten?
Yes, because I'm lucky that my partner is Austrian, so at least he can pick up the phone and some people a bit better than me. Yeah. Also, he still has to do most of the government official phone calls. No, and the thing was, I worked for an international NGO when I got pregnant, SOS Children Villages here in Austria. For a year, I had a year contract. This was also it was something with the war of Ukraine, so it was like a temporary humanitarian action project. And I already knew it was probably going to be for a year, and then I got pregnant. And during my pregnancy, this contract ended, and I was this far along already that I wouldn't go look for a new job. So on paper, I didn't have work. And you only get the public kindergarten if both parents work, because otherwise they're then the mom can. But I knew that I wanted to work as soon as I could, and that I would. I already had a job in the Netherlands, like the remote NGO job, but I didn't have that on paper, so that made it a bit difficult. And I was like, yeah, but I'm gonna work probably around 8 months. But they were like, no, we need the bit. And then luckily, I could arrange it with the Dutch NGO that they already in 8 months put something on paper.
Okay.
But so it's, and this is a whole other topic, but kindergarten for families that, for instance, only speak Turkish at home, it significantly improves the children's language if they go to a kindergarten at a young age, like the German language, obviously, because they don't hear it at home. It doesn't, they don't hear it. And then for them, it's really good for also later school, like how they do in school, if they at a younger age go to kindergarten versus parents that already offer German at home. But a lot of those families, at least that's what the numbers say, in a lot of those families, one of the parents, usually the mother, doesn't work. And then they don't have the right to go to the free kindergarten from an early age on. So this gap exactly is actually what is needed for those children to do good in school as well. And especially for those families, they can only, I think then you can only put your child in kindergarten, the free one, at age 3. And then they already lost this 1-2 years where they could potentially learn more.
Yeah.
You're following what?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
So it's a bit for the privileged. Or the privileged and the ones that work. Yeah, it's.
Well, I hope more people make kids, because so far the only thing keeping the workforce up in Austria is immigration. So
Yeah.
if without immigration, there will be not enough workforce here.
No, but that is also a thought that we know, because we work in this field, but
They know, and these are
if you talk to the
statistics from the
politicians,
government. Actually, they know,
but they
don't want to accept. I
No.
was talking to someone, an old school journalist here in Austria, and I was telling the same thing, and she said that it's the same conversation for years, for 20 years, 30 years. It's the same thing, that one party says that we need immigration, we have to make it easier, otherwise our card and all. And there's the other party who says we don't want immigrants. And so the truth is, it has to move on faster and be made easier.
Yeah.
And because you know it better than me, there are so many highly qualified workers that they would give their best to the work.
Because that's also important. Like, it's the motivation that is in general to start a program with us. Like, you have to be so motivated and so willing. If you're like, okay, paying €100, I'm going to this workshop where, then you're really motivated.
Yeah.
And then we make sure that you find the right job. And then if you get this job, what do you think? You think this person is going to be like, oh yeah, I don't want to go to work. No, that's also what we see in how rarely people leave this job, because it's, first of all, it's a suitable job, but also this is what they really, really want. They're so motivated, and it's so bizarre that you can't. And of course, I'm talking about highly qualified people. I understand it's a bit more difficult if you still have to learn some skills, or if you don't have a higher degree. But still, we need. I don't know how to say these people. I mean, we just need talented people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Language cannot be the issue, and the fact that they have a different cultural background cannot be an issue. That's actually something that can only be beneficial. But of course, there's a whole political story. It's a whole different story. That's like but it's not based on facts, like zero. If you look at the facts, we need it.
Yeah.
And if you look at the numbers, it would probably cost Austria less money if we invest in supporting these people finding a job versus supporting them with social money and social benefits that
Exactly.
they don't want but have to survive. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
It's
sometimes I'm like, and then I'm naive or simple, but we're only making it more difficult and more expensive.
Yeah. And then the narrative on the news, not the international news, but on others, is that every time they put up the numbers of how many unemployed people are registered, and then people start blaming it on the immigrants, and they say they don't want to work, which is the complete opposite. Like, AMS doesn't pay enough for anyone to have the life that they expected to have when they move to a new country. They cannot afford most of the things they want to do, so no one wants to stay there. No. But however, the unemployment number are increasing every month, and I think it's been still the highest number since April 2023, which was still after pandemic and lockdown, and it was.
And now it's lower even.
Now it's higher.
It's high.
So it's still lower than before that, but it's the highest number since April 2023, and it's growing every month. Why is this number growing? This is a very interesting
Why is this number
topic.
growing, and why at the same time do we need more people?
The demand is higher.
The discrepancy. There's a lot of discrepancy in terms of we need a lot of how do you call it, blue collar? I don't know, like people who work in the hospitals, electricians.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna be like too few of them, because more and more, I think, more people study, for instance, IT or things like that. It's just a bit more popular at the moment. And then we have this discrepancy. Okay, we have this highly skilled, or we have skilled people, but we don't have, for certain sectors, we don't have. And already at the moment, I'm not sure if Vienna does it, but at least I know from other, like Niederösterreich or wherever, that they're taking people from the Philippines, for instance, or India, actively here to work in our hospitals. Like they have this program to learn the language, and then trying to find people.
That interests me though, because there are so many people here looking for jobs, and so why not?
But not as a nurse, apparently.
Yeah, but why not making it more accessible to learn new professions?
Yeah.
And to what surprises me, I talked to.
Why do you get a whole group of people, women? I'm happy if this makes it. I'm happy. It's all good, but there's also a lot of people in Austria
Exactly
wanting to.
And why is it so? Because they keep, even the governmental agencies I talk to, and I tell them that the language is a real problem to find a job in Austria. It's not a joke.
No.
And they say, no, the language is not the problem. The problem might be how they write their CVs and how they apply. That's one thing. If you have the language, that maybe that's the problem. But even our people say, from the audience, they say, most of them say that it's the language barrier why they cannot find a job. Then comes networking, the network that they don't have. So why is it? Why costs you less to keep those people at IMS and not give them free German courses?
Yeah.
I have so many friends who are eager to learn German.
But I think it happens. No, the free German courses.
Not really.
IMS.
Not really.
No.
Just the very basic in the beginning, and that's it.
Till.
But you know it better than me. Who can work with A2 level? Nobody. You cannot find a job with A2.
No, you will learn faster if you
work.
Yeah.
Yes. But then they don't.
Vicious circle.
They don't hire you if you don't know German. So this thing, that's what I was telling them. Like, look, I partially agree, but language is a problem. You don't want people to work in English, you have to give them German for free at that very high level German. That's the only way you can prepare them for
I think some companies do this. Even some companies I talk to, like, we're even willing, they said, if it's... But then you have to be like a genius. It's not for a normal... Like,
that's only for people they hire.
It's also unfair. You know, it's if there's someone who fits this position where already for 6 months we can't find one because it's so specific and AI high, it's something computer science difficult. Yeah, if you find a person like that, then we can support them in German and it's not as important anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So you either have to be really... But what about just... normal, hardworking
regular people.
You don't need. I don't think it's fair to have to be fantastic in something and then get a chance. It's just fair to realize that if this is really just only the problem, the language, that this is something you can work on. Also, from the side of the companies, you can offer German courses, but you can also just speak in English.
That's one thing. Like, companies complain there's a demand for workers, but then what you're gonna do? The government is not cooperating to give them advanced German courses so they can afford in Austria German courses.
Why that is it?
I don't know what is that. I don't know why nobody's doing it.
No, I'm still trying to talk to someone at AMS to also understand how do you make these decisions? Like what?
I think AMS has courses only in the beginning when you first move here. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of complicated because if you work, you don't get the course. If you come here and register as unemployed, you get the course, but up to a certain point. But then you come here, you work in English, for example, then you want to switch job, you want to integrate.
Then it's difficult,
Then it's difficult.
Yeah, because I think work is always more important than for AMS, like for them. It's not like you.
So I don't think it's AMS who should do it after all. No. It should be a program.
Or let's just look at the companies and not at the government. Like try. That's at least what I'm trying to do. If they are more open and more willing to look past this, then we don't need
I agree.
extra courses from the government. The companies can do that. It's their problem, and they can also, I think, deal with it. And of course, I understand. Like often, this is all the time when I talk to companies. Yeah, but they have to be able to talk to kunden, so our customers. And our customers sometimes come from Niederösterreich or wherever, and they just need to. So I understand in some positions, so when you're on the phone with customers from, for instance, Niederösterreich, I understand you have to speak German. That makes sense. So sometimes it's fair, but it depends on the position a bit, obviously, if it's really needed. And then you have to factor in how likely is it that this person will speak C1 if you give him the chance.
Yeah.
After a while.
Yeah. Yeah. It should be a mutual cooperation to get these people to work.
But it would be cool if it's the companies and not looking at the government to solve it. But and that's what we're trying to do at Amstel, but it's not easy.
That's also another topic, because many companies who have the people in these decision-making positions, it's people that have been working there for 30 years, maybe some of them, and these, I don't understand what were Austrians thinking a while ago, that they were making employees contracts that they cannot fire them. Same thing with renting houses, that they cannot kick them out.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Yeah.
It's your company, it's your house. How can you not be able to
I had
decide?
conflict like that in my house. I'm happy with it.
You are, I'm sure you are. But if that was my house, I wouldn't be happy at all.
You would only do temporary.
Well, of course. Like I buy a house and I can never have the chance to live there.
Yeah,
never.
No.
And you can also pass it on your daughter.
Yeah, forever. It stays in the family forever. Yeah. You have
Crazy. I might buy. So the thought that I buy a house, I work my whole life. I buy a house, and then I will die without ever living there for a day.
You don't understand. No.
What is this thing? And they still do it now.
Legislation probably, right? Because it's like also why
it's a choice. Now you can do a befristet house with the limited time, and it's been a while. And now the befristet, the only thing they did is the befristet now is 5 years. It's okay. So now there will be a minimum of 5 years.
Yeah, I'm really lucky with my unbefristed rent contract. Yeah,
that's
I was just given. Yeah.
Poor guy who owns the apartment.
Yeah, it's another company now that owns it's been sold, and now it's being renovated, and we're almost the only ones in the house still.
Oh.
Because we have this contract probably. And then they're probably going to rent it out for way more money. I don't know what they're trying to do.
Yeah. But that also happens with employees. There are employees that they cannot fire. There are employees that when they started working 40 years ago, they were told,
40 years ago.
or whatever, they were told that they don't need English to work here, but now they need English to work here, and they refuse to learn it or speak it with anyone. And the fact that they are not accepting that almost half of Vienna's populations are with a migration background drives me crazy, that they are not cooperating with this. Like it's gone. It's not 40.
We have to look the other direction, and not always to the newcomers. Like they're already trying it, but it also takes a little bit of. But it doesn't help, like the political situation we're in, where the way people. I mean, most people not, but I guess if you look at them in the media or whatever, the way they look at immigrants or migrants, or is just already with so many judgment and like negativity that it's very difficult to get past this. So that also plays a role, of course. And what I also hear a lot in more like, for instance, technical engineering jobs or something like that, safety. So, for instance, if you really work in how they call it, somewhere with things, and you have to be able to tell someone when there's a danger, something dangerous is happening, or in terms of security, they're like, no, you have to speak German, C1.
And why not doing it in English?
Exactly.
You know what's the
And also, like, if something needs help or whatever, everyone hopefully, I don't know. It's just this. It's very hard to go on with the conversation if this is the beginning.
Yes,
like, no,
exactly.
no.
Exactly.
We have a lot of colleagues indeed that speak that don't speak English, so we can't. Yeah.
There's from time to time there's this news that the Red Cross is urgently calling for blood donation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever seen this on the news.
Posters, yeah, I've seen this.
Either posters, it's also on the news from time to time. They go, we urgently need people to donate blood. And then I found out we wanted to put out this call as well as the news, and support it. But then some people tell me that they tried to donate. Some people from our audience said they tried to donate blood, but they do not accept if they don't speak German. And the reason is what you explain now, because they have to explain you things, and they can only do it in German and not in English. So they're letting literally people die because they don't have enough blood, and they don't accept blood from non-German speakers, which are now 22% of the population of Austria.
Oh, did you fact check this?
I fact checked this. It's on their guidelines on the internet, and also I wrote.
Donate blood.
Yes.
You have to do this.
You have to listen and agree apparently to things.
You have to sign something, of course.
And I was telling this to the Samaritan Bund. They came to my door one day. Mm-hmm. And I tell her this thing, and she knew it, and she said, "But do you know?" She said, "I'm German. Do you know that in Germany you cannot donate blood if you're gay?"
No.
That's what she said.
It cannot be true.
I mean, she wasn't joking. That's what she knew as well. I wouldn't be surprised if that's true.
No, that's not the thing.
I mean, some laws might be too old there as well, but I don't want to, because it's Germany, I will not go into checking that. But that's what she said from...
But in general, this whole language thing, like, I don't know enough about AI, but I can imagine that at some point, this contract, when you want to donate blood, they can AI, like, translate it for you. Or, yeah. I mean, the language can be the problem here. We can, and it's the same in general in hospitals. And so that's a whole other topic, but it's still... that a lot of children have to translate for their parents in hospitals or in schools.
So what's the difference?
Completely unethical, especially in the hospital or also in schools. Why? Like at this point, with the technologies that we have, it should not be a problem anymore. Like, why is this language so important? Yeah.
And we wrote to the people from the Red Cross, and they didn't get back to us about this. I think because it's written on their website, and that's what I showed them. It says that you say this thing.
They didn't reply.
Two people that we wrote to the Red Cross, they didn't reply. And this was after another call they put out for blood donation. And we published it the first time, as I said, but after receiving feedback from the audience, I was like, okay, I'm not publishing this again until we find out that because if that's the case, I'm not putting out a call in English if they don't.
No, if they cannot go.
People in English, if they can go.
Oh God, not even in English.
I really hope that the website is outdated. But if people told me that that's what happened,
I'm trying to think, and what would be a logical explanation?
It could be. It matches what you said also about the security at work, the safety at work. So it might be the same logic behind it.
Yeah, you can probably sue them if something happens.
You can say, I didn't understand.
I didn't want to give my blood. Yeah.
But then you can also sign without understanding anything.
Of course. Usually when I sign something, I have also looked over. Like, it's not like I'm going through a contract.
I think the logic here is that if they're going to translate it, they cannot take the responsibility for the translation, how it was translated, and you'd take a legal translator to do it, which they don't want. Yeah. This is the most typical European bureaucracy. I don't want to risk anything, so I'm not doing it at all. Yeah. And I choose not to have blood
out of fear.
in stock, out of fear, and because it's complicated, and then they will blame us if something is translated the wrong way.
Very careful. Yeah.
Too careful.
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't blood checks be mostly made in terms of if you're healthy or not healthy?
Yeah. And what language do you
take
speak?
I'm not taking something from you. Why?
Yeah.
Why should you be worried for me? I'm giving you blood.
Yeah, it's a legal thing, probably. Yeah.
Too bureaucratic.
But it's a nice example of, if you think about the companies, they need something like the hospitals need blood. And then you offer it, but then there's something difficult about it, which is the language. It's a bit the same, like you want something that might help you, but already excluding it But to be fair, in terms of companies, obviously not all companies.
Of course.
No,
of course. You saw also the event we put out the names of so many companies that hire people speaking English.
Sometimes we don't care what the language they speak as long as they can do this, and this.
Impact Hub is one of them, where we are now. It's there are many of them, of course.
Yeah.
It's just that Vienna is becoming more and more popular, and there's more and more people coming here, and that's not the problem. That's actually a solution.
Yeah.
So now you
solution
have to
a problem. It's just we have to find a way to. There's this discrepancy between what people bring and what is needed. So you have to indeed have these house building educational programs where. And maybe also when people come to the country, you can say like, hey, if you do this and this educational program, and then we know for sure that you can have a good life here. To offer this kind of opportunity is a completely different way of thinking.
And I agree that should absolutely be that you get this language support or unemployment support only in the first 2 years and not forever. So you have this amount of time to learn, and you should do it. You're going to struggle the first 2 years. You're going to go to work, you come back from work, and you have to learn because we're paying everything for it. And that also, I get it when people get mad that people are at AMS for 10 years or forever. That doesn't make sense. Like, okay, so what's the future here? What are we paying for? What are we investing in?
But you have to look at it individually, like, okay, what is the reason someone
exactly
is
but if you combine it with language courses and other training, so
these offer opportunities.
Yes, exactly. So these people become professionals in something, and also kind of force it to them in a way that, look, we have these 10 highly demanded jobs in the market, and we offer you these 10 different courses to choose from. You have 1 year to be trained in one of them. And if you say that you want to play the violin after 10 years, sorry, we don't have a job for that. We need nurses and this and this and this, and we offer to learn it for you to learn it for free. And if you don't do it, we cannot pay for you anymore as a government. You have to find your own way.
I don't think it's true, but sounds fair. Yeah. And this is what is lacking, like this part where you create opportunities for people to create or learn a profession or relearn a profession. This is also, I think, important, the reskilling. So not just but that's also what we try to do. If you have people with higher education, you can reskill. Okay, they have a certain level of thinking, they have an education, they're academia in something, but to use their brain, so to say, and capacities, but in another job that is needed, and not only needed, but also that they can find something that they also like. And the focus on reskilling would also be interesting.
Just check the market, see what you need most, and offer free courses for that. Make sure they attend and they get the certificates, and also...
Shall we start a political...
Yes. Seems like we can start an NGO first of all. But it's this now has become a typical taxi driver or barbershop thing, that you every time you enter a taxi or you go to cut your hair, they know everything how to solve the brand. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
This is what they should do, and they don't know anything about running a country.
They're stupid, so let us do it.
People they put up there, it's us.
I don't understand. Yeah, I know. It's probably not that easy, I know, but
let's say that also things here don't move as fast as they need to move for some topics. It's the same.
But where does it?
In many other countries, including sometimes for some things also maybe the Netherlands, and if you go up Nordics, some things move way faster.
More efficient, yeah.
Yeah, especially maybe, I don't know of any topic, but at least the startup ecosystem topic, it's way slow, way slower than it should be. You are assigned people to work with that are appointed as people that are supposed to work and support startups.
Mm-hmm.
And that they have to be people that work a lot and they respond fast and they take action fast, but that doesn't happen. They answer your emails very slowly. The decision making, you have public grants, it takes 6 months to get an answer from an application for a startup application if you apply to the national grants.
Mm-hmm.
How is a startup supposed to survive for an answer that might even be a negative answer at the end? What am I going to do?
No, I don't know a lot about it, but I know that entrepreneurship is not as easy. It's not as supported.
No, it's not at all.
No,
it's not. And this goes back to we can do a parallel to what we said: government versus companies. We can do same comparison now to government versus private capital and investment. So there should be also a way from private capital to change the mentality and jump on board and make it work faster. We still think it's going to change. Some people who've been here longer than us, they say that it has changed. It's just not changing fast enough.
No.
Either the job market that they say also changed it 10, 15 years ago. Getting a job in English was a miracle.
Changed already, yeah.
They say that changed.
Yeah, we're just a bit slower. We, like, I don't know, Austria. I think in the Netherlands already in a lot of places you just speak English by default.
Yeah.
And this changed really fast as well. It wasn't like that 10 years ago, but now already it's almost everywhere. Yeah.
This year I went for some in Amsterdam, and I was shocked for good how many people speak English, and you could tell they were locals. They were not.
Yeah, they're used to it.
They were. I mean, there's a way of how the Dutch people look.
Yeah.
And I could tell they were Dutch. They were speaking, and the way they speak English fluently, everyone, everywhere. And I have so many friends living there, also friends from my home country. They just feel very comfortable. They never feel a language barrier anywhere.
No, I think, I mean, because I worked mostly with people with a refugee background in the Netherlands, and we also supported them. Of course, the Dutch language, not the same as here. Dutch language was also a barrier, but especially in jobs like, I think in the bigger companies, it's all very international, and then restaurants, etc. as well. But working in a hospital, things like that, it's also still very important.
That I agree, because you cannot make patients.
As soon as you speak to customers or patients, I think it's still very important.
Yeah.
But I think at some point, the generation from now is going to speak English, like the whole.
Yeah. But patients is one thing, because if the patient go to the hospital, sometimes when you're not healthy, it's hard to switch languages.
Yeah.
But when you're a customer at a company, I would say that should be also an understanding from the customer side of things that, look, we have no other choice. We need those people from abroad to work here. So please bear with us and do your best to speak in English to them, because otherwise you would be, the waiting times would be longer for you because we'd not have people to work. So please understand and don't be a pain to start making them talk in German or Dutch. So please
It's
don't.
all gonna change at some point also with AI, that you don't have to call anymore with an actual person, but you just in your language get the answer, right? I mean, I don't know.
Not in Austria, maybe.
No, in Austria it's still
or in 50 years.
still very much behind.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But I'm sure that in some countries that will happen very soon.
Yeah. And how is it in Albania actually? First of all, with the English speaking.
You go there, you speak any language you like, they'll find a way to
Understand you.
To understand you, even if they don't speak it. Then they are in Albania, especially if someone speaks one word in Albanian, everyone is applaud because you're trying. But it's different. People are way more hospital, and they really
Open arms.
do your best to help you if you need something as a foreigner. And if you don't speak the language, I mean, nobody who's a foreigner lives in Albania speaks Albanian, because it's a super difficult language compared to any other. So German is super easy compared to Albanian.
Hindu.
But that's also in Albania, most people speak English anyway.
Okay. Also the older generation.
Well, my parents don't, for example, my parents' generation, but also if they don't, they would certainly call someone who does.
Yeah.
And they say, talk to this person because he needs help, or he's asking me something that I don't understand, but they will never not answer.
But this is maybe if you come as a tourist or something, but how is the attitude towards people with a migrant background or refugee background? That's welcoming?
Started to happen in the recent years, that they are taking people from abroad to work there, because there's also demand for different professions, and they just speak English.
Yeah. Okay.
It's they will find a way.
More open-minded.
100%. They don't care, and they know that these people are needed. That's why they're bringing them in. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to find a job.
And what with refugees, if it was not like related to work?
The thing is, they don't care at all. They don't care where you're from, really.
Also not in the media, like this right wing.
No, the right wing there is for different things. There's nothing. The immigration is not a topic at all, in a sense that. So I don't know if you know, but there was a refugee camp that opened in Albania to host Italian refugees.
Yeah, I know this. Yeah. Exactly.
Albania is one of those countries where in Albania live 2.3 or 4 million people, Albanians, 2.4, and there's about 7 to 8 million living abroad. So we are very used, even people who didn't live abroad, they only lived in Albania, they for sure have someone in their family who lives abroad, and they know what it's like because they heard the stories that when they moved there and all the language. So it's when our parents see someone from abroad, they try to help because they think of their sons and daughters.
Diaspora that's spread everywhere. Okay, so the diaspora is bigger than
way big. It's
2 million versus 8 million, more or less.
Oh, it's way big, and it's all over the world. It's and after the 90s, after the 2000s, it's also growing to very successful people, because until the 90s, Albania was closed, was a dictatorship. And then some people couldn't move right after, but people born in the 90s who traveled and moved out abroad after they got to a certain age, like 15 and more, they started becoming artists, scientists. After their studies, many people in tech and art scene now are also from Albania.
But they also go back to Albania, or is it sort of a brain where all
some ways? So there, take Dua Lipa case, for example. The singer, Dua Lipa, right? She's Albanian.
I wouldn't be able to sing a song from her, I think. Yeah.
But you can agree with this, she's very popular.
Yeah. If I even know her, yeah.
Yeah, she's from Albania and Kosovo. She hasn't gone back to live there, but she, from time to time, does stuff in Kosovo and Albania. She does a music festival every year that employs many people, brings many celebrities in the country. And
so in a way, diasporas support their home country really well. That's also, I think, an important thing of migration, that they're rebuilding or at least supporting their home country by working abroad. And so on so many levels, it's good to have people with a migrant background work.
So in terms of also AI is trying. Albania is really trying to catch up now. They are really open to try things.
And it's important for them that Albanians don't leave the country but stay, or is there something going on?
I would say so, and there are new strategies being implemented to try to bring the diaspora back in a way or another.
How do you do that?
You do that by incentivizing that, by incentivizing opening companies in Albania and hiring people locally.
More money. Yeah, for instance, how do you make sure that the people that studied medicine actually work as a doctor in Albania and not wait to study?
I think they put I don't know if it's implemented, but they thought of a law that if you study medicine in Albania, you have to work for at least 2 years.
That makes sense.
It does and it doesn't.
If you personally want to go somewhere else, it's not that nice, of course. But
because it became a strategy for Albanians to study and finish medicine and then go to Germany or come to Austria and find a job for higher salaries. Because of course, it's hard for Albania to compete with salaries. It's a small country.
But then at least they're there for the 2 years.
I don't know if this has happened. It was discussed once. People were not happy with the discussion, of course, because they were thinking of leaving and going for higher salaries right away. If you ask me, whoever chooses to become a doctor, humanity has to come first. So you help first your people, and then you invest your knowledge and know-how in your country, and then you can move. It shouldn't be immediately for a high salary.
Yeah, but that's a moral thing, I think, it's hard to...
Yeah. But I don't think it has been implemented yet, probably because it had a lot of discussions around it.
Yeah, because it's the freedom that you're then, the freedom of someone to choose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which is also important. Yeah.
Well, should we wrap this up?
Yeah, I have no clue how long we're sitting. I know I need...
We've been going on for almost 2 hours.
Oh my God.
Yes, this is one of the best podcasts.
The longest. Oh God, I'm not sure if it's the best, but the longest. Yeah.
Daphne Hebing.
Hebing, yeah.
Hebing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for being here again in such a short time frame. You were here less than 2 weeks ago when we did the international talks.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Wish you the best of luck in helping us.
And each other. And I think we're doing the same sort of work. So hopefully if we see each other 2 years from now and in between, but I mean, if we discuss this topic, it's going to be more positive.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have something to fight for, but I'm not sure how fast things change, but let's hope there's a more open-minded international
approach
vibe. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.